Curtis Kelly used voodoo to his advantage, but was also attacked by the same demons which gave him money and power. Kelly became aware of his own father's involvement in an occult club which practiced astral projection.
My father's friends, they were very demonic. They come from a very demonic elite club. Everybody couldn't join or be involved with that club. You had some doctors, you had some lawyers and judges and people of high esteem in the community were involved with this occultic club. My father was one of the ringleaders of this. And I remember many times in the middle of the night, I would hear downstairs, we had up and downstairs house, and I would hear a party going on downstairs, and I wanted to be involved with it. And so I would get up and I would go downstairs, down the flight of stairs, and when they would hear me coming down the stairs, they would say, "Oh, here he comes, here he comes." And they would, I would see as their feet and everything went right through the wall, solid wall. And I said, wait a minute, how is that possible? And so they would come back again, and so I said, okay, I'm gonna sneak down there and see who these people are. And then my father would be entertaining them. And they would be partying, smoking, and drinking, laughing, and making all kinds of noise. But when they would hear I'm getting close, they'd say, "Oh, here he comes." And each time I come, I would see more of them. And they could actually just come right to a wall. They could astral project, come right to a wall. It was no problem to them. Now, be it in their physical body or spiritual form, I'm not quite sure, but I know they can do it. And there's many people out there that can still do that. To the demonic realm. That's what those people were. They have sold themselves out 100% to where they can astral project and they can go from one place to another. That's why when you want to go overseas, make sure you know the principalities, powers, and everything in those regions before you go there, because in some parts of the world, there's those priests, those shamans, and those voodoo priests, and the witches, and Santeria, and all the people that practice Obeya and all that stuff. Those people are the higher level of witchcraft. They literally can get on their cedar broom and fly or levitate. They can do all of those things without it, without an airplane, without a helicopter or anything. They just when they want to go somewhere, they just go. They just go, and whether in the body or not, I'm not quite sure how they do it. But that's the group my father was running with. I never actually seen my father do it, but I know when he was there, he disappeared too.
One day, Kelly became aware of how powerful and deadly evil curses can be.
My grandmother, I love my grandmother, and one particular day I was walking through the projects and I heard an argument going on. I said, "Oh, who's this arguing?" You know me, I was always in for a good fight. I said, "Who's fighting?" You know, not too much to see girls or ladies fight, you know, but they did fight in our neighborhood too. And I recognized his voice from a distance, from a half a block away. I said, "That sounds like my grandmother." And she was giving somebody what for too. She was giving it to him, oh boy. And so I got in closer to see what was going on, because it was always taught to stay out of grown people's business. You know, don't get into the business of adults, so we were taught that. So they said, if you see adults arguing, you stand back and you don't say anything. You know, so I did. I just stood back in the back a little bit as they were going forth. And there was a man there. He was saying something to my grandmother. I had never seen this man before. I didn't know who he was, because I thought I knew everybody. There's 5,000 families in the projects, and I knew everybody between New York and Connecticut. So I figured, no, I knew everybody. I didn't know who this guy was, arguing with my grandmother. So I didn't say anything, and I just stood back and watched. And they were going at it. I mean, they were going at it. My grandmother was little, but boy, she was holding her ground with this guy. And then she said something. She did her fingers a certain way, and she said, "I'm gonna curse you." And she did one of these numbers, and she threw her hand, and she said some words that I'm never gonna say those words, but she said those words, and that man fell over backwards. Bang, he fell over, hit the concrete real hard. And I looked at that, wow. I called her Mama. I said, "Mama, I didn't know you had that kind of power. I want that too." You know? And so I said those words, that she said. I stood there in the background, way over there, about 10, 15, 20 feet away. She didn't know I was there. And I said those same words she said, and I saw something start spinning, like a tornado started spinning, just like this. And it started spinning faster and faster, and I looked there, and it came like this, and right inside of me. And I said, oh my God, what did I do? And then it was something was inside, and it was still kept spinning inside of me. And I got so scared, I ran in the house, wasn't that far from our house. I ran in the house, and I saw my brothers and sisters and everybody there, and I was trying to explain to them what was going on. And said something, I kept saying, something's in me, something in me. What's in you? I said, I don't know, something's in me. Get it out, get it out. Something's in me, get it out. I said, oh, you crazy, ain't nothing in you. What's in you? I said, it's inside, something's inside me. I said, all right, nothing inside of you. So that night, one of my uncles, he had a drinking problem real bad. He and I was real close. My dad and I weren't close, but my uncle, he sort of raised me. But everything my dad was showing me bad, he tried to show me good stuff. And so, but he had a drinking problem, and he was drunk. He laid on the floor, and I laid down there next to him, because he was my protector and my buddy, you know. He still is, he's still alive, so I still love my uncle. And I laid there, and next thing I know, I hear that spinning thing coming. Now it's coming again, middle of the night, it's coming again. And I said, Unc, wake up, Unc, something's happening, wake up. And he was so drunk, he couldn't even lift his own head. He said, what's wrong, nephew? I said, something wrong, Uncle, something wrong, something's spinning inside of me. And the next thing I know, the closet door opened up, and out stepped this big old green thing with wings. And he stepped on my arm. I tried to get under my uncle, and I was trying to hide, but this big old green creature stepped on my arm and stopped me from moving. And I started to scream, and I was yelling, and nobody was helping me. My uncle was drunk. That started a whole new thing from those words my grandmother was doing, putting the curse. When the Bible says, bless and curse not, because when you curse, you be cursed at the same time. A lot of people don't know that. It's better not to curse and forgive than to try to repay cursing for cursing, because when you curse, it comes right back on you automatically, because what you've done, you open the door.
When it came to curses, Kelly didn't hesitate to use them, even on his own friends.
The Davis brothers went to a revival meeting, and we were friends, and I didn't like the idea that they went to church, because after all I'd been through, the church was an enemy. People in the church were weak, and to me, I thought they were weak and cowards and wouldn't fight, and that's how we were in the street. So when I saw them, I felt like they were abandoning us, the rest of us, to go on chasing after this Jesus thing. And when I would see them come back, and they would minister to a lot of our other friends because they were excited about being saved, and they would tell the rest of the guys, saying, you need to stop these drugs and stuff and come and get saved. Well, if they get saved, I lose a lot of customers. I said, I'm gonna send some curses after them, some spirits to curse them, to stop them, slow them down. And so these little spirits, I called them up. They came up out of the ground, and I told them, I said, I'm sending you over here, and I want you to go over there and stop these guys. A warning, I'm giving them a warning. I want you to terrorize them, torment them, night and day, 24 hours a day, till they come back out here in the streets with us. So I sent this little one, about so big. He went over there, and he came back, and he says, I can't do nothing to them, they're protected. And I told that spirit, I said, what did I tell you to do? I told you to go destroy them. He went out again. And it came back and said, I told you, I can't touch them, they're protected. So I said, get out of here. I sent him, you back down to the floor where you come from. So another one, I sent a bigger one this time, a little bigger than about that size. And I said, now you go and do what that other one, he didn't do. I said, you go and destroy them. You go, and you tear everything up, you tear their house up, you tear their mama up, you tear their cars up, set the house on fire within a minute. Do everything I tell you to do. You better not fail. So that spirit disappeared, and it went. Then I waited for a few days, and that spirit came back with a sad look on his face, and I said, did you do what I told you to do? He said, I can't touch them. Just like the other one told you, we can't touch them, they're protected. And I got mad at him, I brushed him off, Then I astral projected out of my body, left my body at one place, and I went into another place. And when I got there, I found exactly what it was, like a snap of a finger. And when I got there, there was 2 8-foot tall angels with a flaming sword. They looked like they had been working out in the gym. They was tough. And I stood around the back of a telephone pole and I peeked out at them. I said, man, I see why them little imps couldn't do nothing. Wow. Then I went back into myself. And, man, these guys, wow. They got some serious power, man. My God, they got some power behind them.
Kelly decided he now wanted some of that same protection from the angels he had seen on the occultic dark side.